And so you've been giving effectively personally for 4 years.
Yeah.
How did you?
Well, so I was at university when a guy called Toby Ord, he's a philosopher, and I started giving a larger portion of my income, but then kind of created a habit around giving. I decided in sort of 2019 that I was going to do trial pledge, which is where you pick the percentage and you pick for how long you want to do it. So I said I'm going to try 5% and do it for 6 months. And actually that worked really well for me, and I felt I could give a little bit more. So then I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to make this bigger commitment, 10% for the rest of kind of working life. But I was living in Kenya at the time, and COVID had just kind of struck, deal with that. And that also kind of sharpened my mind to being like, I have this income, I live a pretty comfortable life. I've been very lucky to have the education and to have the opportunities that I've had. And then being face to face with this, unbelievable suffering, I was just like, okay, I feel like I've got to do something about this on a personal level, as well as my work at the time.
So the do something was to increase your donations.
Yeah, and to make the 10% pledge, to make that commitment.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I do really kind of viscerally, emotionally believe in this.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of why it's one of the reasons why I kind of was like, I want to solidify this and make this something more kind of permanent in my life.
Yeah. It sounds like you had an opportunity to really confront your values, and you had, and then do something about it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people face crises and just do something.
Yeah.
That is like some kind of self-care, or it's some kind of like regression towards a past of where they go into dark places. It sounds like you found a way to put your actions to work.
You know what? I think like your point there and the words self-care are really interesting, because part of my motivation for doing this was because I was feeling bad about it. I was feeling guilty. I was feeling like I wasn't doing enough. And so at a base level, I really hate this idea of inequality and suffering. And so that was my motivation. But also because of that, I was then feeling, guilty and bad about it. So by giving, I was also able to kind of reduce those feelings. This whole thing about like, is there any truly altruistic act? Maybe not. And maybe part of it was just doing it to make myself feel a bit better. But that is also true. Like I am now hugely proud of my giving, and it is one of the best and most defining parts of who I am. So yeah, it's that self-care thing is I think really